I let my girlfriend move in. I didn't realize I'd moved into a prison of her secrets. I still don't fully know what I got myself into, and part of me wonders if I'll ever fully process it. It started innocently. I met Emily, not her real name, 2 years ago at a coffee shop. She spilled a latte on my laptop. I laughed, she apologized, we started talking. Within weeks, we were inseparable. Smart, witty, funny, the kind of person you tell yourself you click with instantly. About 6 months in, she asked to move in. At first, I hesitated. I had my own place, my own routine. But she was renting a tiny studio and I liked her being around. I told myself, it's just a trial, a temporary thing. She moved in with 2 small suitcases, smiling, excited. The first few weeks were normal, sweet, comfortable, cozy. She cooked meals. We watched TV. She left little notes on the fridge. I thought I was living the dream. Then came the first small oddity. I noticed things disappearing. Not valuables, small things, a pair of headphones, some books, a jacket. Nothing I cared about much, but enough to notice. When I asked, she smiled, shrugged, said, "Oh, I just put it somewhere safe. Don't worry about it." I laughed it off. I didn't want to seem controlling. Then I started noticing changes in her behavior. She would answer my phone calls when I wasn't home. She rearranged furniture without asking. She read my mail. Not all of it, just the envelopes before I saw them. When I confronted her gently, she said it was because she liked to keep the space organized or just wanted to help. I felt a flicker of unease, but I pushed it aside. I trusted her, or at least I wanted to. Then came the first real shock. One evening, I came home early from work. She wasn't there. I noticed my laptop was open on the table, something I always kept closed and locked. My browser history was cleared. I checked the time stamps. Someone had logged in during the last hour. It wasn't her. I was pretty sure of it. I confronted her when she got home. "Emily, did you use my laptop?" She laughed lightly. "No, I was out. Why? Did you notice something?" My heart pounded. "Yes," I said slowly. "Someone been on it recently." Her expression didn't change. She just tilted her head. "Well," she said softly, "maybe you're just being paranoid." And that's when the first real doubt entered my mind. Paranoid? That word would haunt me over the next year. At first, I tried to convince myself I was overreacting. Relationships require compromise, right? People move things, people borrow stuff, people get curious. That's normal. But once the seed of doubt is planted, everything starts looking different. I began noticing patterns. Emily always knew where I was, even when I hadn't told her. She'd text things like, "Leaving work late again," on days I hadn't mentioned overtime. She knew when my parents called me, even if I hadn't brought it up. She knew when I'd had a bad day before I ever said a word. At first, it felt caring. Then it felt invasive. One night, I woke up around 3 a.m. and realized she wasn't in bed. I walked into the living room and found her sitting on the couch, scrolling through her phone. When she noticed me, she jumped slightly, like she'd been caught doing something. "Couldn't sleep," she said quickly. I noticed my phone was on the table next to her. Face up. Unlocked. I asked how she got into it. She smiled. "You told me your passcode once, I remembered." I had told her, months ago, during a lazy afternoon when we were joking around. I never thought she'd memorize it. I changed my passcode the next day. She noticed immediately. "Why'd you change it?" she asked, laughing, but her eyes were searching my face. "No reason," I said, "just felt like it." She didn't like that. The atmosphere shifted after that. She started asking questions, lots of them. Where I was going. Who I was with. Why I was home late. Why I didn't answer immediately. If I hesitated, even slightly, she'd sigh and say, "I just worry about you." That phrase became her shield. I tried to set boundaries. "Emily, I need some privacy." Her expression hardened for just a second before softening again. I just don't want secrets between us, she said. Secrets. I started checking my things. My email had new red receipts. My social media accounts showed logins from devices I didn't recognize. My calendar had events added I didn't remember scheduling. I asked her about it. She denied everything. You're imagining things, she said calmly. You've been stressed lately. That was the second word she used against me. First paranoid. Now stressed. That's when I realized something important. She wasn't just invading my privacy. She was rewriting my perception of reality. Gaslighting. I hated that word, but I couldn't deny it. The turning point came when I found the notebook. I was cleaning out a drawer she'd reorganized when I found it tucked behind some old paperwork. Plain cover, no name. Inside were pages of notes. My routines. My habits. Who I talked to. What time I came home. What mood I was in. Dates, times, observations. I sat on the floor reading it, my hands shaking. This wasn't care. This was surveillance. When I confronted her that night, I didn't show anger. I showed the notebook. She stared at it for a long moment. Then she smiled. I knew you'd find it eventually, she said softly. And that's when I knew I was in real danger. I didn't sleep that night. Not because she wouldn't let me, but because I couldn't close my eyes without replaying her smile in my head. I knew you'd find it eventually. That wasn't the reaction of someone embarrassed or ashamed. That was the reaction of someone who had planned for this moment. I told myself not to panic. Panic makes mistakes. I needed to be careful. The next morning, I acted normal. I kissed her goodbye. I went to work. I smiled at coworkers. Inside, I was unraveling. I started planning my exit quietly. I changed passwords again, this time on a computer at work. I opened a new email account she didn't know about. I started moving small things out of the apartment, documents, backups, anything irreplaceable. One backpack at a time, taken to my car. She noticed anyway. That night she asked casually, "Why is your passport missing?" My blood went cold. "I moved it," I said. "Safer place." She nodded slowly. "You don't trust me anymore," she said. It wasn't a question. From that moment on, the house felt different. Doors were always closed. Lights turned on in rooms I hadn't entered. My phone battery drained faster than usual. She started showing up places I hadn't told her I'd be. Once, I came home to find she'd rearranged the apartment again, but this time, she'd moved my desk into the bedroom. "So we can be closer," she said. That's when I told her I needed space. Her reaction was immediate and terrifyingly calm. "You're not thinking clearly," she said. "You're spiraling. I'm just trying to help you." I told her I wanted her to move out. Her face didn't change. Instead, she sat down and said, "If you leave me, I'll tell people what you did." "What I did?" I asked. She listed things. Conversations I'd had in private. Messages taken out of context. Moments from months ago, twisted just enough to sound bad. She had screenshots. Recordings. Things I didn't know she'd captured. "You don't want that," she said gently. "It would ruin you." That was the moment I realized I wasn't living with a partner. I was living with a warden. I waited 2 more weeks. I documented everything. And one morning, while she was at work, I left. I didn't take furniture. I didn't leave a note. I didn't tell her where I was going. I disappeared. She tried to find me. Emails from new addresses. Messages through mutual friends. Voicemails that swung between begging and fury. "You owe me. You're confused. We can fix this. You can't just abandon me." I blocked everything. I moved apartments. Changed my number. Warned my workplace. For months, I jumped every time my phone buzzed. But slowly, the fear faded. Here, what I learned. and I hope someone reading this needs to hear it. Control doesn't always look like anger. Sometimes it looks like care. Sometimes it looks like attention. Sometimes it looks like love. Until it doesn't. If someone monitors you instead of trusting you, that's not devotion. If someone rewrites your reality to keep you close, that's not concern. If someone makes leaving feel dangerous, that's not love. That's captivity. I'm in a healthier relationship now. One with space, privacy, trust. And sometimes, when things are quiet, I still catch myself checking my phone just to make sure it's mine.